Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. We are deep in the midst of winter, so you might be wondering what exactly is going on in people's collection at this time. Well, if you're like me, your collection is in a state of rest. Winter, the lower temperatures and lower light, does still have some requirements for maintaining your houseplants, orchids, succulents, and cacti. I'm just going to go over a few. During winter, make sure you take the opportunity to dust your leaves. You don't want to see dust over them because the light is lower, you definitely want to keep your leaves a lot cleaner. As evidenced here, I also need to dust my leaves. Now, winter is also an opportunity to take the time to cut off your old, spent stems. You may not have done it over summer, but take a look. Those old stems can sometimes harbor insects. You don't want to keep them on your plant too long, especially if it's not Phalaenopsis with subsequent blooming. Speaking of insects, check your plants. Some of these little creatures might be running around. Here is evidence of a mealybug. Now my camera refuses to focus. But it's usually these little white, there we go, cottony looking things. I did spray this plant the other day. It is in spike and there was evidence of mealybugs. Now all the plants around it did get sprayed because these little critters do have the propensity for moving. In winter, you might also want to check your plants to decide which plant will be repotted in summer. Some plants do start to outgrow their pots. How do you make that decision? Well, some of these guys, might be growing all over the place. Roots everywhere. Good grief. Are you happy to see me? Yeah, that one's going to need a repot. But if they're securely in their pots, no roots hanging all over, those are the ones that you can ignore for maybe another year. This guy, some of the top roots decided to desiccate. You can decide to cut those off as well. Give them a fresh new start for spring and summer. Now, if you also have cacti in your collection, despite them needing a moment to rest, you should also spritz a few of them to prevent wrinkling. If there is signs of wrinkling or excessive wrinkling, you might want to drizzle a bit of water around the edges, just so that they don't desiccate too much. Speaking of death, check your dendrobiums. Make sure the canes are all alive. These two will not be making it to summer. But if you look closely, there's some new growths. No worries there. But this is the time when some dendrobium canes do shrivel up and die. Speaking of death. I'm not entirely sure if this one is going to die. Some of my citrus type plants do drop their leaves in winter. Now, this could be a case that this plant is dead, but it remains to be seen. There will be an update on that for sure. Some of the begonias have done the same thing. They will drop their leaves, kind of start over fresh in spring and summer. Make sure you're keeping your humidity up in the winter as well. Mine happens to be quite low. It's 34%, 75-degree temperature, despite running a humidifier at full blast. That's the perks of living in Zone 6, people. It sucks. Check your Hoyas. Some of them do tend to look a bit more wrinkly during the winter, but there are those that seem to go through it unscathed. Like this guy was never looking good anyway. It still doesn't look good now. But at least it's not dead. Ha! Count your blessings. Another sign of a dendrobium who absolutely does not need any water. I don't know if this is a spike or a new growth, and the camera does not want to show you either. But anyway, dendrobiums in the winter, for the most part, don't need to be watered until you start seeing new growth at the base. Let's check the base of this one. Whoa, got the leaf in the way. There's a new growth right there at the base. So watering will be soon for this guy. I mean, it's January. Spring is around the corner anyway, right? And for your other little guys, if you are growing ear plants, they tend to desiccate very easily around this time of year. Make sure you're not neglecting them. Give them some water. That's talking to myself here. This is my Duratii. It does need some water. In fact, some of the ear plants might be doing this right now. Spiking. So see, despite it being a time of rest, cool, dark, there's lots that you could be doing in your collection right now to make sure you have a great start for the new year. Everything is kind of brown and sleepy outside, or in my case, inside. I had to take my roses in because we had a minus 25-degree wind chill for a few days, and surprisingly they survived. They're all waking up, every last one of them. So check your plants, dust them off, check your roots, clean them up, decide who will be repotted, give your little cacti a little sprinkling if they need it, and keep an eye on those that might be dead come spring. Trim off the dead branches, clean up the dead growths. And still, happy growing, guys. Thanks for watching. Happy New Year. Bye.